Hey, it's the Oni Gino, and this is Talk Now, Think Later. Let's look at the freaking news. Claire Obscure director, the prejudice against turn-based RPGs isn't completely gone, writes Chris Scullion, Video Games Chronicle. Yeah, let's read a little bit of it. Galon, I can't really pronounce this name better, properly, but like, I'll try. Guillaume Brochet. I know they're French. My wife just laughs at me now. I know they're French. Sorry, apologize. Believes the genre became uncool when the HD era started. The creative director of Claire Obscure Expedition 33 says there's still a prejudice against the turn-based RPG genre. Despite the commercial and critical success of Claire Obscure, Guillaume told Automaton that he believes his game and others like Persona are exceptions to the rule, and that there's still some way to go until RPGs become as popular as they used to be. I could talk about the prejudice forever, Brosh laughed. Personally speaking, I think Japanese turn-based RPGs were super popular until the Xbox 360 era. But around the time open world games started getting more popular through gaming media, they started being considered uncool. He added, while they do still sell a large number of copies, with the Persona series as a prime example, I feel like the prejudice against turn-based RPGs isn't completely gone. Broche also stressed that the addition of moves such as parrying and dodging in Clair Obscure were purely a design choice and weren't added to appeal to players who didn't like turn-based RPGs. It's not like we added the parry system and built such a narrative experience because we wanted to avoid our game-facing prejudice, he explained. We just did it because we wanted to do it. In another snippet from the same interview published earlier this week, lead programmer Tom Gillerman said there were no plans to expand the size of Clair Obscure studio Sandfall Interactive, despite the game's success. I think that for now, I'd prefer working as a small team, Gillerman explained. I'm not sure how big an ideal team would be. But when it comes to making a full-priced turn-based RPG, I believe the team we have now is just the right size. 33 days after its release, wink wink, Expedition 33 achieved 3.3 million copies sold as sales milestone, so oddly fitting that its studio had to promise on social media that it was real. That's crazy. The studio has also received praise from Death Stranding creator Hideo Kojima, who we just talked about in my other Talk Now Think Later video, who has said the French studio's smaller team size is ideal. Well, what do we got? Prejudice against turn-based RPGs. Well, yeah, I guess there's a lot of there's just a lot of variables there, right? Like RPGs were really not that difficult to make back then because like nobody was so focused on real-time reactionary combat systems, so you could it's easier to make that kind of thing, and they could focus more on the stories. Back in the early days, they were just like they could just keep pumping out this stuff because those battles were accepted, right? And you would tweak a little bit of them, but it's kind of understood that that's also what makes it a good game, is that it's not reactionary. It's not there's that predictability to it, and it's less active, so there are more people who can play it. People who don't like to play games that require a lot of reactions, like Metal Slug. And skill, like me, who has played Metal Slug just today, and I love that game. Game is top 3 in my life, but I still cannot perfect it. Just can't. Yeah, so JRPGs were really good for that stuff. And as a child of the 90s, I really liked the idea of just, plowing through and grinding for, superpowers and really high levels to make every late game boss and late game enemy a cinch to defeat. Yeah, and then I remember during the PS3 era, I really lost all interest in RPG games. I feel like I was a self-proclaimed like, I can't even play this anymore. I can't wait for menus to pop up. I can't do this anymore. Like I want action. I want movement. I want Bayonetta. Stuff like that. But then I played Chrono Trigger when I started playing online on this stream, on this channel. You can check out my Chrono Trigger playlist as I played that amazing game. It's one of the first videos that I actually started making for this channel. And holy crap, that game was really so good. The battle system, is your menu driven battle system, but it was so tight. The enemy design and the placement and the prediction of how strong you will be and what kinds of abilities you will have at that moment when you fight those enemies. And I'm not talking about the bosses. I'm talking about just even the cannon fodder enemies. I almost call those battle systems as more of a puzzle than battle, because you really get to think about your turns. You get to think about, how to react to things, and not just blocking and everything. It's like it gives you enough time to actually strategize your reaction. So it's not full reactionary gaming. Yeah, and then I guess that kind of re-sparked my interest with RPGs, and now I love playing RPGs. I'm playing through Final Fantasy IX. I finished Suikoden 2, and I'm so glad I finished Suikoden 2. Such a friggin' amazing game. I am just very sad that I did not complete all 108 characters. I got to 107. I think I did not get Clive. Anyway, yeah, so I get the prejudice, the Expedition 33 team says about it, because also the other variable for this is just, it's just, I feel like menu driven combat systems for RPGs are very much a nostalgia driven thing. So I don't know enough about the new generation that is experiencing, very story driven types of RPGs. There's always an interesting discussion I have with my wife about what RPGs are, because she was never a gamer during the 90s, and the I guess the definition of RPGs were very much obvious then. Now it's really muddied because we have a lot of games that are action packed and action centric, but have really a lot of RPG mechanics. Like skill trees, leveling up, random encounters, stuff like that. But funnily enough, the RPGs of the past are weirdly tied to the random encounter but menu based fighting system, kind of thing. I feel like that really defines what a JRPG is during the 90s and the early 2000s. It's just, it's not about the world. It's not really about like, you know, the immersiveness and like it's Final Fantasy and everything. I feel like when you say RPG, you think about the battles. You just think about like all those menus, and then, you know, all the same cutscenes that happen when you trigger the same move and the same summon, stuff like that. I never got tired of the Final Fantasy VIII summons. I would just always watch them, even if they're just like the same replay thing. Anyway, so for Expedition 33, I am really happy that they reintroduced this to the gamers who I feel have not really fully appreciated the Japanese RPG genre. This really shows that right mechanics, right ideas, right, you know, creativity at the right time can resurrect, you know, maybe old forgotten ideas. So yeah, this is really cool. I haven't played this game, but I always hear about the combat. I always hear about the parry system, and I think the closest that I would say is a good take on JRPG combat, but kind of modernizing it. I hate the word modernizing though, because it's not really modernizing it. It's just like there's always a different take on the menu-based combat. Like Bravely Default had the Braves or Defaults mechanic, or you know, Final Fantasy had active time battles where you're picking from a menu, but then the enemy does not wait for the end of your turn to attack. So, you know, you have that kind of stuff. Or, you know, the Mario RPGs where there's a little bit more action, or Suikoden has like, you know, tag team action and stuff like that. Xenoblade has like movement around the arena, but it's still menu based. There's a lot. So I would say it's not really modernizing anything, but I believe that from what I'm hearing, the parry system and, you know, the overall experience of this game was really made it such a gem for this year. So I hope I can play this soon. Yeah, I hope I get enough support for me to afford all of this and actually get a you know, experience this game for myself and have some thoughts about it. But it's really cool that you have this caliber of game today, and that it's not playing it safe, that it actually has something to say about such a difficult topic of bringing back turn-based battle RPGs from the past. And, you know, their first crack at, you know, dealing with all of that prejudice is basically a high chance of being a contender, of being the game of the year this year. Oh, I don't know what happened, but my feed just died. That is that's basically that's it. I guess the computer gods are telling me to shut up. But thank you so much for joining the Talk Now Think Later episode here. Are you guys into JRPGs? Are you guys into menu based systems right now? Is it just a millennial nostalgia thing because like the, you know, journalists of today are mostly all millennials and a little older, like Gen X people who has experienced those? That's why we have that as probably game of the year. Or is it really back? Sound off in the comments. Thank you again, and I'm gonna see you later, guys. Bye.